Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddham dhammam sangham namassami. Hello and welcome once again to the Wednesday Dhamma discussion. And today we'll be reading Sutta number 16 from Majjhima Nikaya. And I would like to invite somebody to read because it will be great to hear everybody reading and learning, discussing. I'll be sharing the screen, don't worry. And this sutta is having a little different perspective. So we'll see what it is talking about. Actually, I have two translation. We'll read half sutta on one translation and another half from another translation so that we have different words they use and different understanding we get from different words. So that's why I thought of doing this. And first half of the sutta we can read from Bhikkhu Sujato's translation on Sutta Central. And maybe another half I'll be reading from Bhikkhu Bodhi's translation. Anybody would like to volunteer reading?
Hello, I can read it.
Yeah, Chaya. Can you see the screen?
I can't see the screen clearly. It is little. We need to enlarge the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hard-heartedness. So I have heard at one time the Buddha was staying near Savatthi in Jeta Grove, Anathapindika's monastery. There the Buddha addressed the mendicants. Mendicants, Venerable Sir, they replied. The Buddha said this. Mendicant, when a mendicant has not given up 5 kinds of hard-heartedness and severed 5 shackles of the heart, it is not possible for them to achieve growth, improvement, or maturity in this teaching and training. What are the 5 kinds of hard-heartedness they haven't given up? Firstly, a mendicant has doubts about the teacher. They are uncertain, undecided, and lacking confidence. This being so, their mind doesn't incline towards keenness, commitment, persistence, and striving. This is the first kind of hard-heartedness they haven't given. Furthermore, a mendicant has doubt about the teaching. This is the second kind of hard-heartedness. They have doubt about the Sangha. This is the third kind of hard-heartedness. They have doubts about the training. This is the fourth kind of hard-heartedness. Furthermore, a mendicant is angry and upset with their spiritual companion, resentful and closed off. That being so, their mind doesn't incline towards keenness, commitment, persistence, and striving. This is the fifth kind of hard-heartedness. They haven't given up. These are the 5 kinds of hard-heartedness they haven't given up. What are the 5 shackles of the heart they haven't severed? Firstly, a mendicant isn't free of greed, desire, fondness, thirst, passion, and craving for sensual pleasure. This being so, their mind doesn't incline towards keenness, commitment, persistence, and striving. This is the first shackle of the heart they haven't severed. Furthermore, a mendicant isn't free of greed for the body. This is the second shackle of the heart. Furthermore, a mendicant isn't free of greed for form. This is the third shackle of the heart. They eat so much as they like until their belly is full. They indulge in the pleasures of sleeping, lying down, and drowsing. This is the fourth heart shackle. They lead the spiritual life, hoping to be reborn in one of the old orders of gods, thinking, by these precepts or observance, or fervent austerity, or spiritual life, may I become one of the gods. This being so, their mind doesn't incline towards keenness, commitment, persistence, and striving. This is the fifth shackle of the heart they haven't severed. These are the five shackles of the heart they haven't severed. When the mendicant has not given up these five kinds of hard-heartedness and severed these five shackles of the heart, it is not possible for them to achieve growth, improvement, or maturity in this teaching and training.
Okay, thank you, Chaya. We'll pause over here, see what
Thank you
the
so much.
guy is talking about. So there are quite a few words that are a little bit difficult to understand, and they are like, what is it talking about? As usual, the opening of the sutta is similar, like Buddha staying at at Savatthi, Anantapindika's bar, Anantapindika's monastery. There, Buddha has been addressing the mendicants who are practicing the meditation. They can be here. It is specifically talking about bhikkhus, but it can be any lay people also who are practicing, basically practitioners. Venerable sir, they replied and they said, Buddha said, mendicants or the meditation practitioners, when a person has not given up these five kinds of hard-heartedness. So this hard-heartedness, actually, Bhikkhu Bodhi has translated it as wilderness in the heart. It's like a jungle of heart that a person who has not given up something, who has lost on path. These there are five kinds of these things, and severed five shackles of the heart. So this severed is has not cut off these five things of the heart. For him, it is not possible to grow, achieve, improve, and maturity in the teaching and training. So, what are these five kinds of hard heartedness, and what are these five things that he has not severed in his heart? So, now we'll see first five things, first kind, five of hard heartedness or the wildernesses of the heart. So, the first thing is that person, the mendicant, has doubt about the teacher. Here, the teacher is the Buddha. They have no faith in the Buddha. They are uncertain, undecided, and lacking confidence in the teacher. Because of not having enough confidence in the teacher, the Buddha, because of that, their mind does not incline towards keenness. They have no interest in walking on the path or practicing. They do not have any inclination to commit themselves to the practice. They do not have interest to keep the practice persistent and strive on this path. This is the first kind of hard heartedness they have not given up. And the second one is that practitioner has doubt about the teaching. Teaching being the Dhamma, they are not confident. They do not have any faith in the teaching. This being so, because of lack of confidence in the teaching, they do not practice, they do not commit themselves to the practice, they do not strive, they do not have keenness to keep practicing. This is the second kind of hard heartedness. And the third one is having doubt about the Sangha. And similarly, because of lack of confidence about Sangha, because of doubt in the Sangha, they do not commit themselves, their mind, they do not incline themselves towards practice, towards striving, towards keenness. And the fourth one is they have doubt about the training. Training being the Eightfold Path training, the meditation training, the right effort, right view, all the eightfold path is the gradual training the Buddha talking about. They have doubt in the training. Will this path lead me to happiness, to liberation, to Nibbana? When they have doubt in the training, they do not incline their minds towards keenness, towards commitment, towards persistence and striving. And because of this, they have hard heartedness that they have not given up. And the fifth one is when a mendicant is angry, when a person is angry or upset with their spiritual companions, resentful and closed off. This being so, their mind doesn't incline towards keenness, commitment, persistence, and striving. And when here it is talking about being open to the spiritual companions, when you're angry or when you are not pleased, when you are upset with whatever suggestions you are giving. Basically, it is saying about not being able to maul yourself or to take suggestions from the spiritual companions regarding your own practice, regarding the teachings of the Buddha. You might be having one kind of view, which can be a right view, but the other person is your spiritual companion can show you another perspective of the same Buddha's teaching. So you should, when you are closed off, when you are not accepting the Buddha's teaching from some other companion, spiritual companion, when you are angry and upset and holding on to that your own views, then you are having this hard heartedness. And because of this not being open to spiritual companions, because of anger and upset, you do not incline your mind towards commitment, towards practice, towards keenness, towards striving. These are the five hard heartedness that a mendicant has not given up. And next, the sutta talks about the five shackles. First, the word shackle says it's an iron cufflinks type of thing, which are tied to a thief or somebody who is staying in a jail to their hands or maybe to their feet. So, what are these five shackles of the heart that they haven't severed, which they have not cut off? So, first thing is they are not free of greed, desire, fondness, thirst, passion, and craving for sensual pleasures. This being so, their mind doesn't incline towards keenness, commitment, persistence, and striving. This is the first shackle of the heart they haven't served. So here it is talking about sensual pleasures when a person is attached or having tied themselves to the sensual pleasures. Oh, I am experiencing the taste and flavor of an ice cream. Anything that does with the five senses and whatever you are experiencing, when you crave for it, when you have greed, wanting more, fondness, thirst, oh, I am thirsty, I want that flavor, or maybe that sights, that smells, that hearing, that sounds, and that tactile sensations. When you're craving for these sensual pleasures, that means you have not served your heart with this shackle. And then because of not removing this sensual pleasure, your mind doesn't incline towards keenness, commitment, practice, and striving. Next, furthermore, when a practitioner is not free from greed for the body, they take their own external appearance of their own body. Personally, oh, I am this, my body used to be like this. And they take very good care of the body, they are fond of it, and they have thirst, they have desire, and they have passion to get ready in some particular way. They say, this is the way that I am. And every time you look at them, they say, this is who I am. This is how I dress up every time. This is what I keep wearing. They are attached to their body. Greed for the body. They have desire. They have fondness, thirst, passion, and craving for the body. And then because of this attachment, because of that views, opinions they have towards their own body, they do not incline their mind towards practice, towards commitment, towards striving, towards persistence, towards keenness. This is the second shackle of the heart. Furthermore, a practitioner, when he isn't free of greed for form. So here it is talking about the external form, because the body, that is also called as form when you talk about it in five aggregates. But here it is talking about the external forms, whatever you own, maybe the house, the car, or maybe your own materialistic things that you own, my mobile. When you have attachment towards the external forms, maybe it's indicating towards the external other person's body. And also, whatever kind of attachment that you have towards the other than your own body, this is talking about the greed for forms. And then, because of your greed, your craving, your passion, thirst, and fondness, desire for those forms, your mind doesn't incline towards keenness, commitment, persistence, and striving on the path of the Dhamma. And then there is fourth shackle, that is, a mendicant eats as much as they like until their belly is full. They indulge in the pleasures of sleeping, lying down, and browsing. This is the fourth shackle of the heart. Here we can see when a person is eating mindlessly, they do not have the mindfulness that their belly is almost getting full, and they, because of lack of mindfulness, they eat much. They crave much for food. And when their belly is full, because of because when their belly is full, they feel sleepy. They indulge in pleasure of sleeping, lying down, drowsing, and all these things happen when you eat as much as they like. So here also Buddha is indicating us towards the middle path, or not to go to the extreme of not consuming the food or eating only one grain, or striving by not eating and assuming that this is going to be leading us to Nibbana, and also eating as much as you can, and then you are just indulging in this pleasure of sleeping. But you have to eat enough so that your body survives, enough calories so that you can do your daily routine and your body can sustain. Also, you can practice. This is the fourth shackle, and I heard one sutta, one Dhamma with this sutta. Bhante said this is mainly given to the monks, because they have only food and shelter that they can indulging as a pleasure. And of course, they have rules and regulations to keep reflecting on the food, taking only that much that is needed for you for that day's surviving. And sometimes this can be applied to lay people also, because if we are not mindful, when we crave for more and more food, definitely our mind starts to become dull, and we feel sleepy, we feel like lying down, we feel like drowsy. And then because of this drowsiness, our mind becomes cloudy and we are not at all mindful. And being moderate in eating is very important, so that our mindfulness keeps established and we keep continuing our mindfulness. And the fifth shackle is when a mendicant or a practitioner living the spiritual life, hoping that when I do this kind of practice, by these precepts or this virtue, by this observance, by this austerity, in this way, if I lead a spiritual life, maybe if I can become one of the gods. If not the higher gods, maybe the lower gods I may become. Having this kind of thought, their mind doesn't incline towards keenness, commitment, persistence, and striving. This fifth shackle of the heart, they do not, they haven't severed. So we can see here having a wrong view that only by practicing precepts or by observing some kind of austerity, or maybe just getting ordained and just keeping the precept, not following any kind of, or doing all of this thing only to become a god and not becoming liberated. Then because of this wrong view, they do not have, their mind doesn't incline towards keenness, commitment, persistence, and striving. This is the fifth shackle of the heart that they haven't severed. That means these are the five things that that mendicant has not cut off yet. And then the Buddha goes on to say, when a practitioner or a mendicant has not given up these five kinds of hard heartedness and severed these five shackles of the heart, it is not possible for them to achieve growth, improvement, or maturity in this teaching and training. You can see if we are not given up the five kind of hard-heartedness or the wildernesses of the heart, being the faith in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, and the training and anger, five hard-heartedness of our own heart. Buddha is asking us to give up these five things of hard-heartedness. And then Buddha also goes on and speaks about the five shackles of the heart. What are these five things that the heart or the mind that is connected to, that is tied to? First is this craving for sensual pleasures, greed for the body, greed for the form, and food, greed or eating as much as food. That's the fourth one. And the fifth shackle that the Buddha is talking about is having a view or perception that keeping these precepts and following this austerity or spiritual life will at least leave me in with allow me to be reborn in a Deva world. And definitely we have been in Deva world many eons, and then our karma there finished, being reborn again, came back to human, but definitely in lower realms also we might have been for a very long time. And then we have to strive for us to come out of this samsara of birth and death cycle. And for us to come out of this, we have to keep this practice going. And this can happen only when we remove this views, when we cut off this shackle, cut off this views and remove this sensual pleasures, greed for body, greed for forms, eating as much as food possible, and then hoping that the spiritual life will leave us in some deva world. And when a mendicant has not given up these five things, not cut off these five things from the heart, it is not possible for that mendicant to grow, improve, or maturity in this teaching and training. You can see the Buddha is directly pointing out here. See, these are the five things that you have to let go. These are the five things that you have to cut off. It's clear here. And then go to what are the five things that we need to improve and what are the five things that can of the heart that should be severed. Maybe somebody else can continue reading, or I'll read the another translation if you want. Nanda madam, would you like to continue reading?
Yes. Okay, Sindhu. Do I start from what are the five kinds of hard-heartedness
Yes.
they've given up?
You can start
First,
here when a mendicant has given up these five.
all right. When a mendicant has given up these five kinds of
Oh, I'm
hard-heartedness
sorry. I'm sorry.
and
Yes, from here.
when a mendicant has not given up these five kinds of hard-heartedness and severed these five shackles of the heart, it's not possible for them to achieve growth, improvement, or maturity in this teaching and training. When a mendicant has given up these five kinds of hard-heartedness and severed these five shackles of the heart, it is possible for them to achieve growth, improvement, and maturity in this teaching and training. What are the five kinds of hard-heartedness they've given up? Firstly, a mendicant has no doubts about the teacher. They are not uncertain, undecided, or lacking confidence. This being so, their mind inclines towards keenness, commitment, persistence, and striving. This is the first kind of hard-heartedness they've given up. Therefore, a mendicant has no doubts about the teaching. They have no doubts about the Sangha. They have no doubts about the training. They are not angry and upset with their spiritual companions, not resentful or closed off. This being so, their mind inclines toward keenness, commitment, persistence, and striving. This is the fifth kind of hard-heartedness they've given up. These are the five kinds of hard-heartedness they've given up. What are the five shackles of the heart they've severed? Firstly, a mendicant is rid of greed, desire, fondness, thirst, passion, and craving for sensual pleasures. This being so, their mind inclines toward keenness, commitment, persistence, and striving. This is the first shackle of the heart they've severed. Furthermore, A mendicant is rid of greed for the body. They've rid of greed for form. They don't eat as much as they like until their belly is full, then indulge in the pleasures of sleeping, lying down, and drowsing. They don't lead a spiritual life hoping to be reborn in one of the orders of gods, thinking, by this precept or observance or fervent austerity or spiritual life, may I become one of the gods? This being so, their mind inclines toward keenness, commitment, persistence, and striving. This is the fifth shackle of the heart they've severed. These are the 5 shackles of the heart they've severed. When mendicant has given up these 5 kinds of hard-heartedness and severed these 5 shackles of the heart, it is possible for them to achieve growth, improvement, or maturity in this teaching and training.
Okay,
They develop.
we'll pause over here, Nanda madam, and we'll just look what it is talking about, what to give up, and it's almost the same thing. It's opposite of what we have just read and discussed. And 5 hard-heartedness, having doubt in the training previously, and now there is no doubt in the teacher, no doubt in the training, the Dhamma, and no doubt about the Sangha, and no doubt about the training, that is the Noble Eightfold Path. And also because there are no doubts, there is faith that is developed, there is the heart that is not uncertain but certain, decided, and having confidence on the teacher, teaching, Sangha, and training. Their mind is inclined towards practice, towards striving, towards persistent effort, towards the commitment, towards keenness. And because of non-anger or not angry and upset with their spiritual companions, not resentful or closed off when they are ready to for the change, or when they are okay with looking at the other perspective of the Dhamma, when they are open to mold themselves maybe and take their practice towards path of the Dhamma. And then because of their non-anger, not being resentful towards their own spiritual companions, their mind becomes inclined towards keenness and their own commitment and persistent and striving. These are the 5 kinds of hard-heartedness they have given up. That means these are the 5 things that we have to develop, and no doubt in the Buddha, in the Dhamma, in Sangha, in the training, and not angry towards our own spiritual companions. And then what are the 5 shackles of the heart that they have severed? What are the 5 things that they have cut off? Firstly, they cut off or get rid of greed, desire, fondness, thirst, passion, and craving for sensual pleasure. And then, because of cutting off or getting rid of this craving for sensual pleasure, their mind inclines towards keenness, commitment, persistence, and striving. And then they get rid of greed for the body, greed for the form. They don't eat as much as they like until their belly is full. That means they eat mindfully and take that much food that is enough for one's own body. And then they do not have this false belief of, if I keep this practice or keep these many precepts, at least I'll be reborn in a Deva world, at least one god or the other, small god, something like that. And then because of not having this belief of stopping their practice just to the keeping of precepts and then maintaining this spiritual life. When they go beyond this, just keeping the precepts and then following the spiritual life, when they strive hard, when their mind is inclined towards this practice, when they are committed, when they are persistent, then they will get their mind towards liberation. When they have removed these 5 shackles from their path, when they have severed these shackles, then their teaching and training, they improve, they grow, and maturity will happen. Their wisdom develops. When they have given up these 5 kinds of hard-heartedness, and when they have served these 5 shackles. Anybody want to continue with reading from here? Paul, would you like to read? Gopinath, sir? Okay, I will be reading here.
Yes, I can read it.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. They develop the basis of psychic power that has immersion due to enthusiasm and active effort. The basis of psychic power that has immersion due to energy and active effort. The basis of psychic power that has immersion due to mental development and active effort. The basis of psychic power that has immersion due to inquiry and active effort. And the fifth is sheer vigor. A mendicant who possesses these 15 factors, including vigor, is capable of breaking out, becoming awakened, and reaching the supreme sanctuary from the yoke. Suppose there was a chicken with 8 or 10 or 12 eggs, and she properly sat on them to keep them warm and incubated. Even if that chicken doesn't wish, if only my chicks could break out of the eggshell with their claws and beak and hatch safely, still they can break out and hatch safely. In the same way, a mendicant who possesses these 15 factors, including vigor, is capable of breaking out, becoming awakened, and reaching the supreme sanctuary from the yoke. That is what the Buddha said. Satisfied, the mendicants approved what the Buddha said.
Thank you, Sachin sir. Here I would like to read Bhikkhu Bodhi's translation as well. Because the words are a little different and these words feel little more comfortable in understanding. He develops the basis of spiritual power consisting in collectedness due to zeal and determined striving. He develops the basis for spiritual power consisting in collectedness due to energy and determined striving. He develops the basis of spiritual power consisting in collectedness due to purity of mind and determined striving. He develops this basis of spiritual power consisting in collectedness due to investigation and determined striving. And enthusiasm is the fifth. A bhikkhu who thus possesses the 15 factors, including enthusiasm, is capable for breaking out, capable of enlightenment, capable of attaining the supreme security from bondage. Suppose there were a hen with 8, 10, or 12 eggs, which she had covered, incubated, and nurtured properly, even though she did not wish. Oh, that my chickens might pierce their shells with the points of their claws and beaks and hatch out safely. Yet the chickens are capable of piercing their shells with their point of their claws and break beaks and hatching out safely. So too, a bhikkhu who thus possesses the 15 factors, including enthusiasm, is capable of breaking out, capable of enlightenment, capable of attaining the supreme security from bondage. This is what the Blessed One said. The bhikkhus were satisfied and delighted in the Blessed One's words. So here we can see it is talking about the spiritual powers, and we need to have this spiritual power consisting of collectedness due to zeal and determined striving. If you look at it, there is always active effort. Because of this active effort, that is the continuous practice, along with the spiritual power, that is the energy to effort. And then you have mental development. Here it is talking about energy and determined striving with collected mind. And then basis of spiritual power with collectedness due to purity of mind and determined striving. And again, investigation and determined striving, along with enthusiasm as a fifth. So we need to have this zeal, energy, collectedness, zeal, energy, purity of mind, and investigation, along with enthusiasm. Actually, there are four spiritual powers, and then you have enthusiasm as the fifth. Five spiritual powers, I guess. I'm not sure. These are covered in 37 requisites of enlightenment. And here the Buddha gives this simile of an hen sitting on her eggs and wanting them to be hatched. But because of her continuous effort, even though she might not wish or she might wish, the eggs will hatch. Similarly, for a practitioner or a mendicant who is practicing these 15 factors that we just discussed, along with enthusiasm, there will definitely be liberation of the mind. They are capable of enlightenment, capable of supreme security from bondage, completely detached, completely free from suffering. And then I think this enthusiasm, these are the five things that the Buddha has given us here. The enthusiasm being most important, and all the five things at end. These are the things I think somehow after practicing for a while, it feels like we are not the same kind of we don't put enough kind of effort into the practice. Maybe it feels like I have been there, now I'm an old practitioner, I have now have become an advanced practitioner or something. But actually the keenness, the enthusiasm as we had as a beginner should always be there until we become enlightened. So we need to put same kind of effort, always put active effort, keep our practice going. We need to have zeal. We need to have energy to keep doing the 6 hours. And we need to have the purity of mind as a power. And then investigation. You always keep this investigation, mindfulness and investigation. When you have investigation, oh, my mind has been caught up in some clinging, then you investigate and then you do 6 hours. When you're mindful, you do 6 hours. Or else you keep on investigating without mindfulness, then you're stuck in that clinging. So practicing these things and along with enthusiasm, it's like you have to enjoy this practice. You need to keep smiling. And Bante says, if you get stuck somewhere, if you caught up in something where your mind is clinging for a long time, then just laugh at how crazy your mind is. This practice that the Buddha has given is simple. In fact, it is simple, but when you start practicing, it kind of feel difficult because We don't want to let go of those attachments. We don't want to let go of clinging. We have not trained our mind to come out of that clinging. We have been clinging or been in those thoughts for very long time. As we have gone, we have not trained it very well. So now when we want to train, it just gives a resistance to change. But then due to gradual practice, due to softening, smiling, relaxing, we gently bring back our mind to wholesome and cultivate these things. And this sutta, I think, is a bit different from the general suttas that the Buddha talks about. Of course, the pattern is same, unwholesome, and then it's talking about wholesome. Then similar kind of the Four Noble Truths. First, the suffering, its cause, and then its release and the path to its release. What are your views, your opinions about this sutta? Do you want to have, do you have any sharing or do you have any question?
Sindhu, just can you tell me about 15 things which it was talking about? I did not go through about it.
Okay. Yes. Actually, first it is talking about the faith in Buddha, in the Dhamma, in the Sangha, and the training, the Noble Eightfold Path, the training, the gradual training that we are doing, and then the non-anger or non-anger towards spiritual companions. These are the first five, and the second five are the things that you have to give up or just completely cut them off. These are the craving for sensual pleasures, craving for body, craving for form, craving for food, or maybe eating mindlessly, eating as much as you can. And then the last one in the second five is having a view that I'll just keep observing these precepts and do this spiritual practice just so that I can be reborn in a Deva world or be in one God or less God. When you give up this thing and go beyond this, then you liberate yourself. This is the 10th one. And the last five are the zeal, enthusiasm, zeal, energy, purity of mind, investigation, and enthusiasm, along with right effort. These are the 15 things.
Thank you, Sindhu. I think we have some of the old students here. They can speak something about it. I think we have Chaya Saula joined. Nanda Madam also joined.
What are your views and how do you feel this sutta is applicable to you, your own practice?
Yes, I'll share something. So, like it's rightly said that I mean, even you said the same thing that when we keep practicing, there comes a time when we feel that since we are doing it every day, there's that kind of a little bit of slowing down, or that we tend to lose that enthusiasm. And what I picked up today, and a very important thing you said is right, that every day you sit, it has to be like how I sat for the first day. So we have to keep that enthusiasm on. And I can notice that sometimes we feel lack of that enthusiasm also. And that's the time when, again, it's the time to build up the curiosity. So this is my learning point for today is like that every time we sit, we have to sit like how we sat for the first day. Keep up that enthusiasm on for every day and be aware and mindful. So thank you so much for reading this sutta today. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And Bante used to say, whenever you say, take it as a vacation for your own mind.
Yes, it's very good point this Chaya said. And I would like to add a similar one point here. Like what in retreats they say is We should sit like a beginner's mind. With a beginner's mind, even Delson says same thing. Nanda madam, you can share something, madam.
Yes, thank you very much, Sindhu, for choosing this sutta. I personally think it's very, very relevant to my daily practice. The first 5 is increasing the Shraddha, the faith in the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha, and the training, the practice, the Siksha process. And also the second set, abandoning the attachment. That is very, very relevant, and guarding our 6 senses as well. And the third section to me is, I would like you to comment on my feeling about the third section is purifying the mind and practicing the 6 hours and attaining the samadhi state to have the insight and have the opportunity to investigate the truth of the Dhamma teaching. It is very, very good. I was thinking, you mentioned 37 qualities of awakening. I was thinking about 43 qualities of awakening. But when you read this sutta, it become very clear that everything is connected. In this sutta, they're talking about 15 qualities, but it is all incorporated. The spiritual power. I think my way of thinking is when you attain the samadhi state, you automatically cultivate and develop the 4 spiritual powers. So thank you very, very much for reading this. I think it is an excellent way of kind of consolidating the Dhamma. It is very beautiful to listen to, Sindhu. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nanda madam. Actually, I was just randomly opening the sutta. I went to the index. I read the first sutta. I didn't feel like connecting it to very well. Then I went to the next sutta. And I thought maybe I can take up this sutta. Bhante doesn't normally take up this sutta, Bhante Vimlaramsi, in our on retreats. But I somehow felt maybe we can do this sutta. It's not the standard suttas that we read, but going back to whatever Buddha has taught, always connects to our own practice. Paul, do you want to say something? Gopinath sir, do you want to share anything?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Yeah, the example of a chicken laying over its egg is good because I have seen in my childhood days how chicken day by day, chicken never loses enthusiasm while sitting over its eggs, even after 10 or 15 days. So it is always alert. That example is very nice. So I remember during my childhood days when we were observing the chicken sitting over the eggs.
Great, sir. Actually, sometimes these symbols give us the right
Yeah,
view.
after a long time I
Yeah.
remember this chicken.
Yes.
And Nelson, one meditation technique is there, letting go of the 5 aggregates.
Yes.
That will take swiftly to deeper stages. I have experienced that meditation in Mumbai only I seen and I tried it.
Okay. Actually, I tried that guided meditation of letting go of 5 aggregates by Delson Armstrong, and
How you find it?
I didn't do complete 1.5 hour. I guess I heard
Uh,
it. I didn't practice it.
uh,
One
no,
full 1 hour sitting, and then I got disturbed. I need to go back to it.
I practice it once in a week. That one.
Oh, great.
Mm.
Do you put on
Okay, thank
guided
you.
meditation or do you do it by yourself?
No, I do it myself only. That
Okay.
audio is there, no, that commentary is there.
Yeah.
According to that commentary, I do that. Otherwise, normally I do that loving kindness, which is at a certain direction. That is very effective.
Yes.
This is what how I felt, because this helped me to go far deeper.
Yes. And different people have different kind of Buddha has taught different object of meditation, of course, different kinds of letting go depending upon their own state of mind.
Mhm.
Whatever
Mm.
feels good for you, like I'm going deeper doing this practice, you can do that. Initially, we do loving kindness to 6 direction so that our mind has enough stability, enough equanimity, so that we can incline it to like letting go of 5 aggregates, maybe contemplation, and then you have letting go of the this is signless, going into the signless. Maybe you can incline it to past life reading, like that. You can train, but the base is the 6 directions and the 4 jhana, where you have strong equanimity.
No, the 6 direction is right, but Nelson give a method for this 6 direction. That I find it more effective. Same
It
6
is like an
direction, but
aura.
yeah, he give a direction for this 6 direction. How to do this 6 direction? Otherwise, we were blindly doing 6 direction, but after following this Nelson step by step direction for 6 direction, I find it very effective.
Okay. What I normally do is just by when you start sitting. Actually, I started doing it 3-4 months back. As soon as I
Uh,
sit, I do a couple of deep breathing, or maybe just do a little body scan. Just relax part by part
mm,
by part, and then
mm,
I start filling my whole body with loving kindness by part. Fill when you start relaxing from head to your toe, and then from
mm,
toes to your head, you fill your body with molecules of metta. Just fill
mm,
yourself with metta. And then when it comes till here, you
mm,
have enough loving kindness that it will start flowing in whichever direction you intend to. If I want
mm,
to intend towards the front, it's
mm.
like a glass that is full and you just incline and then it will keep flowing. And in all direction, and later on when you do 6 directions, when you keep pouring the loving kindness, you have attention and it will just keep flowing in all the directions.
Anyway, whatever is
Whatever
fine.
works.
But
Yeah, that's fine.
no, I am able to sit for 2
Yeah,
hours without any problem.
yeah, great.
Smooth. smooth meditation, no hindrance, nothing. So I do almost every day. Certain days it get lost.
Okay. Great.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Paul, do you want to share your insights, your understanding? Okay, we can share the merits. May suffering ones be suffering free, and
Free,
fears
and the
struck,
fear struck fearless be.
grieving
May the
ship,
grieving shed all
and
grief,
all
and may
beings,
all
and
beings find relief.
may
May
all
all beings
with this
share this merit
we
that
have
we have thus acquired for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness. May
beings,
beings inhabiting space and earth,
devas,
devas and nagas of mighty power, share this merit of ours.
protect
May they long protect Buddha's dispensation.
sa
Sa,
sa
sa,
sa.
sa. Thanking you everyone for joining and wishing all happiness. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Keep practicing, keep the enthusiasm going, enjoy the practice.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you, really. Thank you to both of all of you for reading all the suttas, because that keeps us, it keeps reinforcing it keep reinforcing us and we keep getting the motivation, uh, being on the wholesome path. It's like a revision we keep doing all time. So I'm really thankful.
Thank you, Chaya. Thank you, everyone.